In this week's Parsha, we reach the end of Yaakov's life. And before he dies, he speaks to all of his sons. And if you look at what he says, he seems to be blessing some of them, but then he seems to be cursing others. He tells Yehuda, you're going to be fierce like a lion. He tells Yisachar, you're going to work hard like a donkey. He tells Naphtali, you're going to be swift like a deer. But when it comes to the first three of his sons, Reuven and Shimon and Levi, he seems to be criticizing them. He seems to be only pointing out their negative attributes. Why, when it comes to the first three of his sons, is he pointing out their negative attributes? For Reuven, he points out that he rushes, he's quick to make decisions like water. He was too hasty in making decisions, and therefore he made mistakes. And Shimon and Levi, he talks about their anger and some of the destruction that they did. Why for them does he only point out their faults? But for the other ones, he points out their strengths. He gives them a bracha that they should use them for good things. And I think the answer is that there is no such thing as a good character trait and a bad character trait. All of his sons had different character traits. And Yaakov, before he passed away, wanted to give them the insight into their own selves, into their own personalities, so that they can use that for their good. So Yehuda, he said, you could be fierce like a lion. How would Yehuda use this? How would his children use this? That would be up to them. They could use it for the good, and they could use it for the bad. Naphtali would be swift like a deer. Also, something that could be used for the good and for used for the bad. And even Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, Reuven's hastiness could sometimes be a problem. And Reuven pointed out, and Yaakov pointed out to Reuven that it was sometimes a problem. But it could also be Reuven's greatest strength. All of us in our lives, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, we all have our different personality traits. And each personality trait that we have could be used for the good if we focus it correctly. Or each character trait that we have could be used for the bad if we don't focus it, if we don't use it correctly. The Medrash tells us that Esav was born under the mazel, under a red mazel. And that's why he became a murderer. That's why he became a killer and a hunter. And it would seem to be that maybe it's not Esav's fault. This is just who he was. This is the mazel, this is the zodiac sign that he was born under. However, the Medrash tells us that David HaMelech had that very same mazel. And what did David HaMelech do? What did King David do? He took that same character trait, that same, so to speak, bloody character trait, and instead of using it to murder people, instead of using it to be a hunter, instead he went out and he was a soldier. He was a soldier for Hashem. He led his nation into battle for Hashem. Famously, he killed Goliath. And it was that same character trait that Esav had, except Esav used it for something bad. Esav used it for something negative. And David HaMelech, King David, was able to use it only in the service of Hashem. Many times we look at ourselves and we say, I'm just an angry person. I'm a jealous person. I'm a disorganized person. We have these character traits about ourselves, and maybe we do have those character traits. And we look at ourselves and say, this is just who I am. I can't change. This is just going to be my fault. But we can also look at our character traits and realize this is what Hashem gave us. Hashem gave us tools. Hashem gave us instruments. Hashem gave us these character traits. And of course, there's a negative way to use it, but there's also a positive way to use it. You're a jealous person. Don't be jealous of someone's material wealth. Be jealous of someone's spirituality and use that to motivate you to become better. You're an angry person. Be angry at your Yetzer Hara. Be angry at your evil inclination and don't give in. If we can take the God-given personality traits that we have and use them for our divine service, then they become our greatest strengths. We didn't get to choose what character traits we were born with. And sometimes we can't even change those character traits, but we could decide how we're going to use it. And like everything in our life, if we use it for the good, if we focus it on the good, if we use it only for our divine service, then it becomes our greatest strength. Then it becomes our greatest opportunity for growth in the service of Hashem. Have a great, great Shabbos.